All right, we are recording, and today I'm going to have a special guest with me. One of the smartest guys I know. He's a mentor, he's a friend, and there's few people as generous in the world as this guy. It's Mr. Mark Evans. He's part of the Podcast Factory family, and he's also the host of the Making of a DM podcast. If you guys haven't checked him out, always has great words of encouragement. I'm going to begin setting everything up while I'm sure he'll log in soon and we'll get this thing launched on Facebook Live. If you guys are listening, I'm very, very, very proud of my team and impressed on what they've been able to accomplish. This is the first time we've ever been able to do this, but as of the time I'm recording this, we are now live in iTunes, and we actually were able to launch the Daily Bread Project as a podcast in 7 days. And I've never been able to. I mean, I don't know that we've ever tried this before, but it's unbelievable. So here's Mark. I'm going to get him on. What's up, brother? Oh, you're muted. Let's unmute you. Look at this guy showing off at the palace.
Yeah, exactly. Showing off something like
that. Showing out. What's up, homeboy?
Nah, man, just disrupting real life business, wannabe business owners, pissing them off. You know how it is.
Oh, well, I hope we get to talk about that in a little bit. I'm bringing us live on Facebook, bro. The Daily Bread Project, I know you just said yes without even checking into what we're doing here, but we're bringing positivity. We're bringing light.
I love it. Do I have time to hop and get a water or no?
Go ahead, bro. I'll get everything set up on Facebook, and we'll launch into it. Okay, so it looks like it might actually work today. Let's see. Mark is getting a water. And if you guys were watching the video, you'd see how beautiful his background is there. Yep, look, we're live on Facebook. How about that? So it is time for the Daily Bread Project. Yes, y'all. So happy that you're here. If you're watching live, make sure to share us. Make sure to leave lots of comments. And we'll get started in just a second as soon as Mr. Mark Evans comes back from getting a drink of water. I've got mine here. I've got my notes ready, and we'll rock this thing out in just a moment. And if you're listening on a podcast app, let me make a quick recommendation to you. I have a new favorite podcast app. You guys should grab this. It's overcast.com. Or I don't know if it's overcast.com, but just look for the Overcast app. It's my new favorite app. You can adjust speeds, you can fast forward, you can rewind. So if you're listening to this thing on podcast, hit the forward 30 seconds button, and then we'll bring Mark in. But Mark, you don't even know this, bro, but you are, well, maybe you do know it, but you're a big inspiration behind what we're doing here with the Daily Bread Project. You're a big inspiration behind what I do daily with the Talk from the Park. I kind of ripped it off from you. Yours is Talk from the Walk. I had to just take it and shift it. But what really, really inspired me about you, and it's one of my favorite things, and I'm always grateful to be around you, because I don't know how the hell you do it, but you find a way to be positive all the time. I mean, were you always like this?
Well, dude, when you look like me, you better be positive. You gotta make the most of it. No, listen, I don't know. I think I always have seen the positive thing in everything. If I think it is a gift. I don't know if I've created it or it's been given to me, but I think if you don't see the positive in it, you're gonna have a pretty miserable life. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I do see things a little bit differently, I think, man, honestly.
Now let's dissect that a little bit, because I've been to that house. It's beautiful. You're on the golf course. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Yeah, it's easy to be positive when you got it all, but were you positive when you didn't?
Yeah, man, honestly, I swear to you, I don't dream about this, but I think about it. is, you know, if I was sitting in a trailer court right now, or I lived on a beach or under a bridge right now, I would just be positive as I could be. I'd be thankful that I had, you know, a bridge to sleep under. I'd be thankful that I didn't get killed that night if I was homeless. You know, I'd be positive. Like if people walked by and smiled and said hello, like I think it's, you know, again, whatever we focus on is what we see, as you know. And man, I'm happy. I'm happy no matter what, to be honest with you. Listen, there's bad days. We all have those. But, you know, you got to pull strength where you can pull it from, and just try to be as happy as possible. I mean, I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for. We want to be happy, right?
Yeah, yeah. So tell me what you do. The world right now is having a series of bad days, and average, ordinary people are being bombarded with the media. They're being pummeled with bad news. And so when you have a bad day, your bad day would stack up really, really high to average people's bad day. How do you come up out of that? What do you do? How do you get your head right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, the first thing I do in the morning is gratitude session. You know, be grateful. One, I woke up. You know, 150,000 people's not waking up today. Actually, my cousin's wife just passed away a couple of days ago, 40-something years old, heart attack in her sleep. So, hey, and they have 2 kids, 11 years old. Like, I woke up. It's huge. You know, that's a win already. I look at my wife. I look at my kids. They're healthy. I'm healthy. Another one. Hey, I can see. I can touch. I can feel. I can smell. I can talk to people like you. Like, dude, we have so much. Again, what we focus on grows, and I'm just I'm just happy. You know, I'm just doing gratitude. I'm trying to gratitude my way to, you know, to the top. And, you know, yes, there's things I hate, you know, and I'm grateful that I can work out. You know, I want to lose more weight, and, you know, I can say, oh man, I'm fat and I'm disgusting and blah, blah, blah. Or I can say, hey man, listen, you got another day at it. You know, so I'm playing around with the days. Like, what am I eating in the morning? Should I eat in the morning? Should I eat? Like, every day is a new opportunity to kind of play around on the playbook and get stronger, tighter, more, you know, just better, become better. I'm literally living at like 20% version of myself of where I can be, and always focusing on growth, man.
How do you know that? Like most people think they're giving 100 or 110%, but you're saying that you're only at 20%. How do you know that?
Well, I might be 21%, might be 18%. No, man, listen, at the end of the day, we're all great liars ourselves. That's what keeps us a little bit sane, right? So, you know, it kind of keeps us in our box. But, you know, if I hang out with you, you know, at the end of the day, I might say I work a lot. I hang out with you, I'm like, oh man, I'm not doing anything. Or vice versa. Like, that's kind of what, you know, the power of influence. Everyone talks about peer pressure. You know, guys like us that we're rolling in the DM family and such, or different groups that you guys belong to, the peer pressure is a good thing if it's positive peer pressure, right? I get in the gym with you and I'm like, oh man, I'm hitting it hard. And then all of a sudden I see you over there whipping out all these things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything. So I think just being real with yourself, one, you know, first step of recovery is admitting it. You have a problem, right? And I think I'm always looking at how to improve, how to be better in all parts of my life. And I'm a work in progress for life. I don't think you know, hopefully I get better, and that's the goal.
All right. So I want to actually unpack what you said a little bit there, because it's kind of a double-edged sword, because you said when you're rolling with the right crew, like the DM family, it's positive peer pressure, but there's this other side of that where comparing yourself to others is self-sabotage. So
It's
how
the
do you?
thief of it's the thief of joy, right? I think I've saw it before. Um, listen, the problem with comparison, it's as you know, it's never a win-win situation, because maybe I'm comparing to you like you're a better business guy than me. But then I look in the background and your kids don't want to hang out with you. Your wife doesn't want to talk to you. Now all of a sudden, I don't want to be you. So I was comparing against the wrong thing. I think the thing is the only person I'm trying to compare to myself is to me. How do I be a better dad? How do I be a better husband? How do I be a better leader? How do I be a better boss? How do I be I'm trying to compare to myself. Obviously, I'm looking at different guys like, wow, you know, pulling pieces from that, you know, where like, wow, they're there. I can elevate here, but I'm not looking at where they're at. I'm looking at their actions to get to where they're at, honestly.
What I just heard you say, and I want you guys to tune into this because this is super important. It's not comparison, it's inspiration.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like seeing guys, and that was it with, like, when I met you, I didn't even know you. Nate introduced
Exactly.
us. I
Yep.
didn't know anything about you. I didn't know about the Dealmaker family, but I talked to you, and in 30 minutes, I knew I wanted to be around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that because you inspired me in just 30 minutes of what my potential could be.
Yeah.
And so I could never compare myself to you. I'm not you. I don't live your life. But that comparison to yourself, who you are today, who you're going to be tomorrow, who you were yesterday, that's what keeps you growing. So I
Yes.
love that you brought that up, brother. Now talk to me about this, because you are, I mean, you're an amazing fella. You have a lot of people following you. How are you leading these days? How are you leading differently with everything that's going on?
You know, yeah, I think the difference now is I'm having the forward thinking conversations about the future, probably a lot more consciously. Like, hey guys, we're solid. Here's where we're going. Here's why we're going there. Don't, shut off the negativity. Keep in mind, our team's still getting paid. The truth is they actually have more money in their account. They're getting paid. They can't go spend it. They can't go to the mall. They can't go to the movies. They can't go out to eat and go drinking and hanging out, partying, whatever they do. They actually have to sit at home and start taking stock of themselves. And a lot of people use time as an excuse. Well, time has been eliminated out of the excuse. I got to drive to work, so I don't have time to go work out. We just got an hour of time. I got to go drive my kids to daycare. School's not even in. What is the excuse now? I have too much time on my hands. I don't know what to do next. Right? That's the truth. I feel overwhelmed. That's what they're saying now. Jonathan Farrell. It's crazy, man.
Overwhelmed.
I was talking with someone, dude, I have so much time on my hands. I'm so overwhelmed. Yeah. Overwhelmed with opportunity. They don't even know where to start. Well, what if you just start? So that's why it's all mindset. We all know this. Everything we're dealing with is mindset and, repositioning the mindset and thought process. And I'm really spending I truly am spending a lot of time with my teams about just connecting. Kind of reminds me of like 9/11. Remember people like strangers walking down the street would be hugging you, high five you, things changed. Like you connect. Like I feel like these aren't times of like separation, which I see a lot of people firing and all that stuff. This is time to unite and dig deep and have a real conversation. If you can't pay them and they're making 10 grand a month and you say, yeah, I can only pay 5, that's a conversation you should have instead of pulling the plug and kicking them out. And the truth is I actually think they would do it. I think they'd stay around because they believe in it. Like it's better than the alternative, and I think I'm not doing any of that. I'm not reducing people's salaries, but like people, if that's where you have to go, it's where you have to go. And I think it's just real talk. I think people are afraid to have the real conversations as business grows or changes.
You said opportunity, and we've been talking about this in the DM family a lot. I brought this over to the Podcast Factory family. A lot of people are shutting down. A lot of people are buying into this social distancing, and I'm with you. I'm like, let's bring people together because we need it now more than ever. So what are you doing now when there is so much opportunity? Like, how are you going to capitalize from all this opportunity, and what are you looking for?
Well, there's two sides of it, right? I think one, you need some capital. So I'm talking to a lot of people to kind of plant the seed to generate capital in the future. If I need it, I don't even need it yet. I'm just planting seeds like, yo, hey, Jonathan, how much you good for? 500, perfect. 200, 100, whatever. Like just planting seeds and creating that, because that's going to be, you're going to need that in the future if you're trying to do something big. Not only that, just forging relationships one-on-one. I think right now, I always talk about one-to-many, which is awesome. That's what we're doing right now. But there's also another layer to this where it's one-to-one, where you're having real intimate, private conversations about where they're at, where they're going, what they're struggling with. Unfortunately, Jonathan, I know this is a positive show, but I think you and I have a voice and people who follow you have a voice. And I think we need to be talking about suicide, because suicide is a real thing. And I think as what's going on in the environment, you're going to start seeing more suicide rates go up, I'm assuming. I hope not. But from my assumptions and seeing how people are already reacting, they don't know how to deal with it. So they're just going to off themselves. And I hope that doesn't happen. But we need to be talking about, hey, call me. Like, dude, hit me up at 2 a.m. I'm here to help you. Like, talk you off the ledge. Just have a conversation. To me, I think as leaders, that's our positivity in the moment. Like, we could actually help change someone's, very, very crazy decision-making at that moment, and maybe talk them off the ledge and help them, and the people around them.
That's powerful, man.
I don't know if I answered your question or not, but
hey, man, this is going to go where it goes, and that's what we're here for. But that, and it's one of the things I've learned from you is I've learned so much from you. But the one-to-many is great. I kind of knew that already because it's my business. But the one-to-one was one of the biggest things. And in fact, there's so many things that I like. I'm going to tell you this right now because I haven't told you this, and I want to put it on the air. Is like the only reason that we're good right now is because I met you, and you
So
helped me restructure my business to where if we lost 10 or 15% of 20% of our clients, we were fine because we went a different route than we were going before.
yeah,
And so right now we're firm as ever, and it was because of your advice. But the reason I'm bringing that up is not just to brag and not just to make you feel good, but the reason that really happened for us was one piece of advice you gave me on a call where I was doing this stupid shit that I was taught elsewhere to like qualify people and bring them through the funnel and app and time and all this shit. And you were like, get on the phone.
yep.
What are you doing? Get on the phone, one to one. Get on the phone with people. And let me tell you something. That one to one has made a huge difference. People just
Oh,
don't even understand how I can do it. And I'm like, well, how couldn't I do it? And
yep.
so that one to one where you're taking it, where people are needing you right now. And in fact, I read this in my devotionals today was I'm there for you. 4 words that we can all say, but how many of us really mean it? When
I
you
agree.
pick up the phone, that's when you find out who's really there for you. So
I
I'm
agree.
glad you brought that.
That's awesome. It's easier said than done, because it is. We're getting pulled in a lot of directions as owners and husbands and, wives or whoever you are. Like you're pulled in a lot of directions. But I really think now, yesterday I was on the phone 9.5 hours. That's how
Wow.
many hours on the phone. A lot of one-on-one. Every call was a one-on-one call, by the way. Some were 20 minutes, some were 2 minutes, some were 30 minutes or longer. But, it's really connecting. By the way, I'm not selling anything. I'm conversating to try to help them. And, listen, we know if I have something to provide value and I could sell something, I'm selling it because that's the way you provide value as owners. But at the end of the day, my intentions are truly to genuinely listen to them, help them, and guide them with real talk, not some BS stuff that makes them feel good to buy something, but real conversations. Say, hey, challenge them. And I think a lot of times people confuse being challenged with oh, that guy's a jerk. I truly believe if you're not challenged, the person you're talking to is just kind of sufficing you, or they're not actually pushing you to grow. You're not calling me not to grow. You're calling me to have a real conversation so we can grow. I'm growing. You're growing. That's kind of, the positive move that I see is I think you're going to see a lot more realness come out too, Jonathan, with what's going on, man. I just did a show.
Realness
Yes.
in good ways or bad ways or both?
I think both. I think a lot of people that are, people that are giving really bad advice, not doing the right thing, not having capital reserves. It amazes me that people are teaching people how to be in business that don't have a 1-week runway of capital
Ooh.
reserves. How do you do that? I don't it doesn't it's the highest level. Biggest thing that upsets me, and I was talking about this today, I see guys that are letting go of their staff wearing $30,000 watches. I see guys letting go of their staff in the first 2 weeks that have brand new car, Rolls Royces or Corvette, whatever they have. I personally, and I've told my team this, and they know this is true. It's not just me saying it. I would sell everything and move to the cheapest house I could afford and pay them their money if they're doing their job. Because I think that it's our duty to, as a leader, to genuinely, I really would do that. I have done that, by the way. But when I almost went bankrupt twice, I never laid anybody off, and I was going to the BK court. But never did. Pulled the plug on it because I figured out a way to do it. But I think now's the greatest opportunity to find out grit, what we're truly made of. We find that other gear, we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know it existed. Like a new discovery, if you will. And but I think we got, but again, back to earlier what we were talking about, we got to be looking for the good in this. A lot of people are focused on the bad.
How
And
do you
that's why
do it?
yes.
Yeah, how do you do it, Mark? Because we started with this, and we started with your positivity, and that influence, that positivity that you were bringing, or that you bring every day on Instagram and your stories, Mark Evans DM on Instagram. That positivity that you bring every day helped me be more positive and help me want to bring the light. But how with all this negativity, how do you do that? How do you focus on the positive when you're being hit with all this negative?
And I don't know. I don't even know if I am. So you're saying that, it's kind of making me think about it. Even today, I'm talking about some of the stuff. I'm really starting to get a little bit more vocal because I've been watching for the last 2 weeks of what people. Because it's interesting to me. A lot of people say, "Hey, I'm crushing the game of life. I'm very abundant," and then when shit hits the fan, they're gone. They're firing. They're letting go. They're pulling back. I think right now this is when you go all in. You push it all in. And I'm watching this and I'm very confused. Like, I'm not smart intellectually. I barely graduated high school, never went to college, but I'm very like like I'm in the game every day. So when I see this happening, I'm like, am I the dumb one? Or, it's almost like, what am I missing? Because I feel like I'm missing something, because we're good. All the guys we're rolling with are like, we're all pretty decent. And it's like, we're just doing the work. We're behind the scenes doing the work. We're not talking about cool things we're doing. We're just doing the work. I'm more upset, actually. I'm more embarrassed about the entrepreneur community, about how they're acting like they're doing big stuff, as opposed to just do big stuff. Just be it and do it. And if you do that, I think you have to be positive, because if not, you're going to go crazy. Like I said, I mean, we do live in a crazy world, man.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite sayings. Don't talk about it, be about it. And that's the kind of leader that you are, and you've inspired me to be that kind of leader. Don't talk about it, be about it. Let's show up. Let's do what we have to do. And you're probably, no, I can't say probably. You are, I'm thinking, like, you're the most generous person I know. Like, you are such a big giver. Like you just said, you spent 9 hours on the phone, one-on-one. It's not like you're making money on every call. How do you have so much generosity? How can you do that? How can you give so much?
Well, I mean, listen, it's a thing, right? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I feel like I'm not giving enough. That's the real answer. And number two, internally I have a saying: you can't outgive the world. So when you lead like that, I think a lot of people give to like expect back. I'm giving truly to give. I can't outgive the world. Like, karma's a real thing. I truly believe in karma. I don't even know what it looks like or how it is, but I believe if you're a great person doing great things, you're going to get great stuff. I think that's how it works. It's challenging days, challenging months sometimes, but I think it still always works out in your favor. But, I wish I was a bigger giver. I wish I could give more time, money, energy, all that. And I'm striving to be better on that. Last year we gave 151,000 away at my birthday for charity, and that, up plus a bunch of other stuff behind the scenes. You see what we do in the damn family with, adopting kids and all this stuff. But, there's a lot of things, man. I wish we could do more. But remember, I'm trying to it's not balance. I'm trying to, like, my wife and I talk about this openly, like, hey, hon, right now I got to hunker down and like give back to another level. What that means is, hey, I'm not going to be hanging out with you as much, or maybe the kids, but I get to hang out with them every day. I'm very fortunate, as you are. We get to hang out at home and play with the kids, wake up with them or whatever. So I'm just trying to navigate it every day. Some days will be more, right? Some days you're giving more, some days you're not. It's kind of a balancing act.
Let's talk about these folks, because I'm with you. Like, I see opportunity. I am with you on the all in, and maybe that's because you told me to be all in, and I believe you with blind faith. I'm like, Mark's doing it, I'm doing it. It can't be wrong. But when everybody is doing that, like, to me, it's like they're hoarding. They're hoarding toilet paper. They're hoarding bullets. They're hoarding their money. Like you said, they're firing people, but they got that $30,000 watch. How is it that you can see opportunity in this when everybody else is hoarding?
You're still there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How do I see opportunity in it? Well, again, man, I truly am a real abundance thinker. I don't just talk about it. I am it. Like, I truly believe if I give 151,000 away in charity, that doesn't take from me. That actually adds to me. I truly believe if I give my 9.5 hours away yesterday, that doesn't take 9.5 hours away from me. I'm going to get that time somewhere else somehow. Maybe I hire another individual. They work 8 hours a day. I just got 40 hours a week back. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer. I think, I'm just talking out loud, but like, I think that's I really truly do believe in abundance at another level. And not only that, man, we're going to die. So I'm very conscious of that. I'm 41. I'll be 42 June 19th. And, time is, I'm halfway through my life, if you will. So I'm very conscious of that. And I'm trying to figure out how to really leave a real legacy, not talk about it. I guess I don't know. It's kind of my position, I guess.
What's legacy mean to you?
Well, again, I just want to I want my kids to be amazing citizens of the world. I want them to be respectful. I want them to do the right thing. I want them to work hard. I want them to give back. To me, it's not about just money. Obviously, money will help give back to churches and schools and things I want to donate to, hospitals or whatever. But I want my kids to actually be equipped to go out into the world and tackle it and deal with shit like this, actually. You know, I'm more excited to see how my kids deal with problems than they do with, like, when everything's easy. Because they have a pretty easy life compared, to most. So I want to see how they deal when they get punched in the face, kicked in the gut, and I want to see how resilient it is. We did a book 4 years ago, I think. And I told, like, if I had to leave one thing with my kid, it was, what was it? Grit. I want to leave them with grit. I want to teach them what grit really is about. And right now, it's all about grit, right? It's all about grit.
You think the world is lacking grit?
Oh, dude, it's weak. We're weak, man. It's things have been so easy for so long, and I think people has lost their way, man. I think these are times where people need to really dig deep and figure out what they really want life to be for them. I think they're so worried about what everyone else has, not what they have. I think they're paying attention to, like, housewives online or TV or the Kardashians, which who gives two shits about those guys? I don't care about what they do. Listen, I want them to be happy and healthy and all that, but, like, I don't care if they have a new purse, new car, new house. I don't care if their dad is a girl or a girl is a dad. Like, none of this stuff changes my life. And Jonathan, honestly, man, I talk about this. I focus on the me economy. Just happens to be my initials are Mark Evans, right? But me, you, all you care about is your economy. The government, if it's Democrat or Republican, I've still got to live my life. If I'm sick or if I'm quarantined or not quarantined, I still got to live my life. I have to make the decisions to wake up. I have to make the decisions to eat right. I have to make the decisions to work out. I have to make the decisions to work and knowledge up. Like, all these things, like, people just don't take responsibility for their actions or lack of actions, right? I think it's a big problem right now.
Man, you're right. I call it accountability. Like, they're waiting for the world to solve their problems, and they're not doing any internal work. So what's some of the internal work that you do, man? What are you reading? I think you're still doing your 75 hard. You're looking sexy AF. What are you doing, man?
No, man, I think, I'm a big reader. I'm a big, watching videos that will make me better. I'm not watching junk stuff. Dude, right now, it's never been easier to gain massive knowledge. Whatever you want to find, good or bad, is online. So YouTube is a university of wealth of knowledge. You could learn how to be a heart surgeon probably on YouTube, I'm guessing now. But yeah, I mean, I'm reading books. What I think the thing is, when you're reading books, is what is the subject matter you need help with the most today? Like, if I'm trying to figure out how to build revenue in a company, I might not be reading a book how to organize a company. I might, everyone's in different places, in their life. So find out where you're at and where you want to go. And you got to find books and videos that will knowledge you up to get you there on that path. And be patient, but be eager at the same time. I'm not patient at all, but I'm patiently in the future. I know it's going to come. It's just I got to plot it and keep pushing forward every day.
Yeah. By the way, thanks for the recommendation.
Yes.
I'm on this one right now.
It's a good book, right?
Yeah,
it's a great book.
About a quarter of a way through it. Just diving into that since you recommended it. Cool, man. So we're coming up on the tail end of this. We've talked about, I've got a bunch of bullets: finding positivity in everything, gratitude, winning the day. You're living at 20% of your potential. You want to give more. Is there anything else you want to say? Yeah, you better mute that thing, man.
No. Yeah. Is there anything else? Yeah, man. I think the biggest thing is dig deep, pay attention. People are watching. And I think if you want to be a real leader, now's the time to show your leadership skills. And I think we all have a voice. The question is it being heard? Like getting on your podcast, creating a podcast show right now. Everyone should be doing that. Writing a book that you haven't had time to write. Everyone should be doing a book now. Stacking up, getting prepared for a great future. Right now, I know, like, again, what's interesting to me is everyone's contracting. Like I said, we're pushing all in. I'm creating a new book right now. I just set my guy up. I want to start another one right now. And I haven't even came out with Magician vs. Mule yet. It's done, but we're just waiting to push it out. But I think right now what's going to be cool is the workforce in the world will change forever with what's going on. I think you're going to see, the commercial real estate side, like when I say commercial, like, office, warehouse, and space like that is going to change forever. And I think that's not a problem. It's a good thing because they've been old school. I think you're going to see a lot more better lifestyles with individuals that don't have to drive 3 hours a day round trip to go to a job. So they save money, they have a better life, they spend the money in the economy and not at the gas station. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens, man. I'm just excited to see people grow. And like I said, man, truthfully, if I can help anybody that's going through a tough time, not financially, but conversationally, I would definitely love to do that.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to give this real quick for the listeners. We talked about this yesterday, and I think you'll agree with this. Jimmy shared this on how to flourish in a recession. Three things: increase operational efficiency, which is like you're talking about working from home, telecommuting, all that stuff is possible. Develop new markets. So, what are the new markets and new opportunities that you can get into? You've talked a lot about e-commerce and things like that to us individually. And the other thing is enlarge your asset base. So what else can you acquire? And I look at humans as assets on the team. So how can I grow the team? And that's what we're actually doing here at the Podcast Factory. So markevansdm.com, Mark Evans, wherever, go out and find this guy. He's going to change your life. I'm living proof. My life has changed because of you. And I thank you for your time here. I thank you for your generosity. I thank you for your guidance. And most importantly, I thank you for your leadership, Mark.
Definitely. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for having me.